What's the most badass thing you've seen someone do? When I was in high school, I worked evenings at a small-town grocery store, the kind of place where nothing exciting ever happened, where I could bag groceries while half asleep, and the biggest drama of the night was someone arguing about expired coupons. That changed one Friday night. It was just before closing, maybe 9:45 p.m., and the place was winding down. Fluorescent lights hummed above, shelves stood half-stocked, and only a handful of customers wandered the aisles. There was an older lady at my register with a cart full of produce, a couple of teenagers loitering by the soda fridge, and one middle-aged guy, a regular, who always looked like he'd come straight from a 12-hour shift. Greasy work shirt, steel-toed boots, a pack of cigarettes always tossed in with his groceries. He looked permanently tired, like the world had wrung him out. Then the door slid open and two men stepped inside. At first, nothing about them screamed danger. Hoodies pulled low, hands in pockets. Typical. But the way they moved, fast, purposeful, not shopping, made my stomach twist. And then, in one sickening instant, everything changed. "Don't move!" one shouted, his voice cracking like he was trying too hard to sound tough. He pulled out a knife, shiny under the buzzing lights. His buddy yanked something even worse from his hoodie. A gun. Or at least, what looked like one. The air in the store snapped. People froze. A jar slipped from someone's hand and shattered on the tiles, the sound unnaturally loud in the silence. The knife guy vaulted over the checkout counter like he'd practiced, shoving my cashier coworker aside and barking at her to open the till. His friend waved the gun around at the rest of us, eyes darting nervously, finger twitching too close to the trigger. I'll be honest, I was terrified. My hands gripped the edge of the bagging station so hard my knuckles went white. Customers dropped low, whispering prayers, hugging kids to their chests. In that moment, I thought, this is it. This is the night I get stabbed in a grocery store. But then something happened that I'll never forget. The quiet, grease-stained, tired dad customer set down his basket. He didn't panic. He didn't dive for cover. He just straightened up slowly, eyes locked on the gun guy. And in one fluid motion, before anyone could process what was happening, he grabbed a glass bottle of iced tea from the cooler beside him, cocked his arm back, and hurled it with the precision of a major league pitcher. The bottle spun through the air and smashed square into the robber's face. The guy let out a howl as iced tea and shards of glass exploded everywhere. The gun slipped from his hand and clattering across the tiles, and suddenly, the weapon that had held us hostage was gone. Before the robber even bent down to grab it, Dad charged. He slammed into him with the force of a linebacker, sending them both crashing into a display of potato chips. Bags rained down like confetti, but the robber was pinned, groaning, stunned. The whole store erupted in gasps. The knife guy spun around at the sound, eyes wide, blade flashing. For a second, it looked like things were about to get bloodier. But then another customer, a huge, bearded guy who'd been paralyzed with fear up until now, found his courage. He grabbed an empty shopping cart, ran full tilt, and rammed it straight into the knife guy's legs. The impact was brutal. The robber toppled forward, knife skittering across the floor. Before he could scramble up, bearded guy stomped a boot down on his wrist, pinning him like a bug. 10 seconds. That's all it took. 10 seconds to flip the entire situation. The store that had been drowning in fear was now buzzing with disbelief. People peeked out from behind aisles whispering, "Holy shit, did that just happen?" My coworker, still shaking, slammed the till shut and backed away. I stood frozen, heart hammering, trying to process that I'd just seen two would-be robbers completely dismantled by a bottle of iced tea and a shopping cart. The police arrived maybe 4 minutes later, though it felt like hours. And the entire time, quiet dad just sat there calmly, one knee pressed into the robber's back, holding him down like it was nothing. He wasn't out of breath. He wasn't panicking. He just looked steady. When the cops finally cuffed the two men, one of them asked the customer his name. He just shrugged and muttered, "Doesn't matter. Didn't want my kids seeing me on the news for freezing up." That line has stuck with me ever since. He didn't do it for glory. He didn't do it for recognition. He did it because in that moment when everyone else froze, he decided he couldn't. After the chaos settled, customers actually clapped for him. My manager tried to give him free groceries, but he refused. He just picked up a frozen pizza, a carton of orange juice, and his cigarettes, the same things he always bought, and walked out like it was any other Friday night. The rest of us stood there in stunned silence, surrounded by broken glass, spilled chips, and the knowledge that we'd just witnessed something extraordinary. To this day, whenever anyone asks me about the most badass thing I've ever seen, I don't think of movies or stunts or fighters. I think of a quiet, tired-looking guy in steel-toed boots who turned a bottle of iced tea into a weapon, saved a store full of strangers, and then went home to eat pizza like nothing ever happened. Because sometimes the most badass people are the ones who don't look the part until the exact moment it matters.